Now look, this time the comments are going to be back on the other side.
Oh, I finally got to revert back to the original. Hello,
Okay.
is anybody out there?
Hello, it is Metaphysical Matters for May I'm going to get this right this time, the 14th, 2020.
Cracking today, but we're yellow. We're
It's just,
yellow.
there we go. Hey, Sonia, Paula, Michelle,
I'm going on Facebook on my phone
Kathy.
to see how yellow we are.
Well,
Yeah, pretty yellow, but pretty yellow.
It's just light. It's all good.
We don't have yellow light, but it's
all
all
good.
right.
Okay.
We're golden.
There you go. Golden. There we go. Karen, Gabrielle, so nice to see you guys. All right. You had an exciting week.
Have I?
You have. Yes, you have. Not many of us can say that we have been auditioning this week for TV.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath.
So tell me about it. How'd it go?
It went well. I mean, I think it went well. I think here's the thing, and I'm sorry, I suddenly got an itch, and I'm going to have to take care of it.
Paula says we're yellow there, too. Well, I guess it's our new look.
Nothing to be done about it. Oh, my God. Sorry, I just had an intense itch. I have no professionalism at all. I have noticed this. Nothing's happened. I mean, I'm proud of myself because I got favorable attention from people who are in authority to do such things. But to be honest, I don't really think they're going to know what to do with me.
So, no, wait a minute. Let's backtrack. So,
well, I want to know, what is that?
It doesn't show up on the later video. There's just like this little sparkly on
Somebody
my face.
does that. And I think somebody's doing that. And I think it's nice. I just don't know what it means. But anyway, go ahead now.
Okay, so you were basically auditioning for some TV types for potential reality show based around your life.
So it was, nobody ever did tell me what it was.
That's pretty much what I
That would be
assumed.
my guess.
Yeah. So you had to do 3 separate readings for 3 different producers?
4.
Wow.
4. 1 casting director and 3 something executives. One was like a big wheel. And let me tell you something. There were children. I was shocked because how are these people running things when they're children? Of course, they were, in their 30s, but still, I hope they don't hear this. They might get mad. They were lovely. They actually were lovely people. They were awesome people.
But you just mean they were really young.
They're so young. And it's like, that's why I think, I was told by one a developer a while back. They come to me, by the way. I don't go to nobody. I don't even know how they find me. Well, I guess they Google Southern Psychic and then it comes up. I guess that would work. But, they know, they see, and then they say, oh, you're too old for what we're looking for.
This
No, they didn't. But I mean, I told them in case they didn't notice, I'm old. So it's like, it just kills me. So I don't have, because of those kind of experiences, that, and then, they get you another bunch called and they got me all wound up. And because they talked to me, I had a whole round table of people, and she assigned producers to it, set the appointment up Monday. Just send in a picture of yourself saying hello. We actually made a little video and sent in instead. And it was like, again, on my website, which was right in front of them the whole time. But evidently they did not care for it because they never called me back, said drop dead or nothing. And, and then there was another one who kept me going. They actually sent me a contract and then got bored of it. And then there was another one, which was a very nice girl. And actually one from another company that sent me the contract. She's really nice. And this other girl that just did one was really nice. And they're actually Facebook friends right now. And they're still doing this, but not with me, but in other companies for other things, nothing to do with me. The company that's doing it now, I looked them up, and they're actually very credible and have been able to sell these where other people don't. But the thing is, I don't even know if this is something I want because nobody's actually telling me what it is.
Well, you can let them know, if the time comes. But what I thought was funny is, they're really sold on the idea of the hillbilly psychic.
Yeah.
And the stereotypical hillbilly. So they had wardrobe requests for you, right?
One man who was they love hillbilly psychic, which is great because I love it too. And the reason I created it is because that's who I identify with, but also it just amused me. Okay. I do things that I think are funny. And then later, maybe it wasn't such a good idea, but yeah, they wanted me to wear overalls. He wanted me to wear overalls and flannel. And I just about quit on the spot because, no.
And, I think a big piece of hay in your mouth. You know?
Yeah. Oh God, that's what
Can you
Jerry.
whistle through your teeth like Ellie Mae?
I can't no more. Actually, I never could whistle like that. That's what I thought. Evidently they're not looking for somebody. I feel like I'm like Aunt B like, and they're wanting somebody either Ellie Mae or Hee Haw like. And that's not going to happen, people. I cannot, turn back the clock and become Ellie Mae, nor are them Hee Haw gals. And I'm much closer to Aunt B, but we'll see. I'm not holding my breath. I am very happy that they seem to like me so far. And if they don't want me to talk about it, we'll absolutely not talk about it. But, we'll see how they haven't said anything, so we'll see. Very, very, very nice to me so far, and they seem to be very pleased with me so far. That's all I can say.
Well, cool. That's very cool.
Except that they're very young. God, it's just disconcerting when one day you wake up and you go to the doctor and you got some high school kid there trying to be a doctor. It's like, what is that about? You know?
Is your father here?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Doogie Howser lives. It's scary.
So, among the clients that you've seen this week, talked to this week, what's going on with people energetically? What are the issues of the week or theme?
I don't, shoot, I can't talk. Coincidences is again on the thing. There seems to be people talking a lot about experiencing coincidences, like with time and stuff like that. Also, people seem to be a little more connected with the earth energy right now and be feeling stuff and dreams. People seem to be having a lot more dreams. And as I've told you, if you don't remember your dreams, that doesn't mean that you got to struggle with it, because they're still there. You created them. Whatever was given to you or that came to you through that, it's still there when you need it. Okay. And the information is so, but I feel like too, there's maybe been a download of energy, and whatever that is in the back of your mind too. In other words, messages and stuff. But don't struggle. Don't freak out. Don't try really hard. Just know it's here. Whatever you need from here will come here at the right time.
Okay. Ellen and I have been talking a lot about dreams. Really memorable dreams just about every night. And I've heard other people talking about that too. So you think we're getting downloaded?
Michelle Weaver said this is something I wanted for a long time. And she says, I'm just setting myself up for them to drop the ball. We need you on TV. You do not need me on TV. And that's something that's true, though, Michelle Weaver. 10 years ago, I would have been like really pushing for it and really trying hard. But people change, and I'm older now. And I'm grumpier now. And I'm not, I don't care that much no more. It's like what used
like
to.
How much trouble is this going to be?
Yeah. Do I have to get up early or anything?
Yeah.
Or, So it's not like I'm saying I don't want this. I'm just saying I didn't ask for it. But if it comes to me and it looks right and they're happy with my work and I'm doing well, I feel like I'm doing well. Heck yeah, I'm on board, baby. I'm on board. I wouldn't be trying otherwise. But at the same time, I'm not really fretting it either. I'm not like putting out a prayer, oh, give me this or nothing like that. I'm just whatever needs to happen. Let it go.
Well, as you've told us many times, that may be the more powerful way to open the channel for it to manifest by not trying so hard.
Yeah, and I don't want to, my main thing was I didn't just want to really embarrass myself either and have them come and look at me and think, well, what makes you for the fraud you already feared you were? I always have a little bit of that because, I'm human. What are you going to do?
Sky's got a good idea for a show, the Hillbilly Granny Psychic.
I guess I'm a mix of Aunt B and Granny because I got that little bit. I got that little bit of spunk now that I used to not have.
By the way, Sky, I dreamed about Kate last night, Sky's mom. And it just reminded me of that. So dreams, yeah, definitely. And on the way here, you sent me a text, and of course, I didn't have a way to look at it at that point or print out anything. And I'm being the grannies. I'm the one with the granny phone, defiantly so. But anyway, you sent me a text with a newspaper article about a NASA scientist warning about a super virus from space.
I've been telling you for years, and that's not the only scientist. There are a lot of scientists who feel that a lot of ancient viruses, like might be under the Antarctic, for example, may have traveled here through broken up comets and stuff, like the seeds of life planted on this planet, basically. And if you believe in higher power, that was maybe the tool that God used, but that these viruses could be broken up and landed here. And they even think the coronavirus may have got its start from a meteor that
They who?
they certain scientists, not just much of my friends, you know.
I thought I was the same NASA people or whatever.
Actually, I think there might have been. You'll have to look at the article yourself. I'll post it later, people. But it was just very interesting to me, and what I've been feeling all along, that even though it's natural, it's and it could have been here for a gazillion years, it's still origins was maybe somewhere else, but also there could be new things, and they're saying that if we don't really learn better how to manage, that this could be like something that you think of the movie, how we defeated the aliens, War of the Worlds. Was it?
Yeah.
They got chicken pox.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and they'll drop dead of chicken pox and all. Some scientists will say no, because that's like these viruses affect plants, these affect this, but we are seeing that no, in fact, they do jump species. There are some rabies, for example, interspecies diseases and whatnot. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting, and how we love to think of different ways that the world can come to an end. We love to see the ways we can wipe out humanity.
The way that we employ our very powerful imaginations. It is interesting that we choose to imagine how it is we're going to meet our demise.
So where we can see how we can see humanity felt to exist. And I just thought it was an interesting thing, but that is what people do. It's a caveman thing. We have to be super alert to the things that could come in here and kill us, crawl in here and kill us, whatever, because that's our survival. Therefore, we are designed, or we have evolved, however we want to look at it, to be hypersensitive to the negative, to the scary, because that has to do with, again, survival. Mm-hmm. So that's only natural that we would do that.
Well, I want to share, while we're on this subject, I want to share some artwork, and I want you to talk about
it. Not my artwork.
It's not my artwork either. You guys see that? Let's see. Give it up here. Okay. Probe, and what is that other one? A9XS. So Dylan did this, and we talked about this a little bit a few weeks ago, but tell me the story behind this.
I think he was just deciding one day that he would tell me about his alien abduction experience when he was living back with his other family, and he made this very long, detailed story about it, and now he won't talk about it anymore. But yeah, he was drawing out the people that he saw, and I thought that was kind of interesting, which I'm sure he's seen. Everybody's seen now the grades and stuff, but he put a lot of energy into it, which is not typical for him to do.
Well, we've talked before about alien abduction, and Dylan says that that's something that happens to him. And
he told us when he was little, like 3 or 4, he was like calling me saying, I looked out my window and there was a spaceship landed out there in the yard. It said his other family. And I thought that, he was like 3. And of course I didn't say that. I said, really? Tell me all about it. And now he doesn't remember that, of course. But then all of a sudden he's remembering and he's writing all that down. But I don't know what else he said about it now.
Well, I just wanted to share that last week I'm just going to say it. I had an abduction experience. I've had them all my life, off and on. And I thought at my age that they would have stopped. Thought they had stopped. But then last week it happened.
Maybe you're just now getting interested.
Oh boy. Well, I'll just answer that. But anyway, I dreamed I went up in what seemed to me to be like a clear tube. And I got up there. And when I got there, it was a room that was familiar to me. I knew I had been there before. And I saw what in my mind was interpreted as dental hygienist, which explains to me why I'm absolutely terrified to go to the dentist. That is one of the most scariest things that I can do is go to the dentist. And I felt like I've felt for a long time that there was some connection. But anyway, these dental hygienists were there and they seemed to be familiar. They didn't seem to be all that scary. A female came over and I laid back and she came up to me and said, I know how much this scares you, so I'm going to do this. And then she brought something down to my face and I woke up. And when I woke up, I was vibrating, not shaking like you would do if you were scared, but my whole body was vibrating. And my cat was there and he was looking right down at me. And as soon as I woke up, he began to comfort me. And he did comfort me. But that was
interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, that was really intense. And that happened last week. And I'm sure that is happening to more people than we would.
Well, there's a whole lot more sightings. Did you also get the email I sent you that was telling you about 8 incidences of military planes having connect random word all of a sudden. Encounters, thank you. Which is probably another reason you won't be seeing me on TV. I can't remember what I'm talking about. Encounters with eight of them of you quote unquote UFOs. And I feel like that was pretty interesting too. And it was new. It just got there. And I will post this again for you whenever I can.
Yeah, you sent that to me, but I couldn't get to it for some reason. I don't know. It's behind a paywall or something for me.
And I might have sent you the Facebook link instead of the actual link. I don't think I was on Facebook though. I think I was actually on a news site. But anyway, I'll find it and resend it. Or you can just Google it. Just Google it. You'll find it because it wasn't like it was something unheard of.
Yeah.
But anyway, that I'm telling you now, what will happen? The powers that be give, and the powers that be take. So they'll come forward with this really crazy stuff that's happening, this big event, and then you know people like settle with that, and then what do? They kind of backwalk it. Nothing really happened. It was just a mirage. Somebody's this uncredited person.
A mirage.
Whatever. Yeah,
that's a classic.
See, here's what. But then you wait a little again, then they'll go back out a little bit further this time. That's how it's going to be, like ocean waves. Tide's coming in, though. So every time the information comes in, this is my prediction, the tide comes in a little bit further and then, doesn't go back out quite as far because that's what I feel is going with this information that's coming. Give it out there, walk it back. Put it out there, walk it back. But every time a little bit more until I think it's going to be just commonplace to hear it. People shouldn't be taking this so calmly. It's just bizarre to me. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, whatever.
Well, what are we going to do?
Well, I mean, it's like if it turns out to be a provable thing, it's the biggest thing in human history so far. We should be like interested.
This cycle of human history.
Yeah, so far it should be getting attention, but it's like,
I think, in my opinion, they've been here many times before and interacted with humans many times before.
Probably so.
We have forgotten about that.
But we don't know it. We don't remember whatever. It's funny, too, because one time when old man James and me first got married, two things happened at our house. And, I don't consider myself an abductee or nothing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I am. But anyway, I do think I connect with them. I do. Maybe that's anyway. I do think because I don't know that she's an alien abductee. I think she's alien infused, whatever that is. This just in, by the way. But anyway, I feel like write that down. I don't want to remember things like that. I guess maybe too. But anyway, I dreamed that I did not dream anything. James and I, gosh, I dreamed. We did dream. Sorry, and I might have told you before, but we were in bed. Dog baby, a little white mixed breed, was just laying over there somewhere. And I was asleep. And then I woke up and I remembered I left my pocketbook in the living room. And at that time I had teenagers. And I didn't want them bringing her, some boyfriend and I didn't know because it was early when we went to bed, getting them to my pocketbook because I didn't know what this guy's going to drag in there. So I got up, I walked in the living room and I got my pocketbook. And I was coming back, and right when I was under the doorway, I am telling you, and by the way, I was in a movie called Alien Abduction.
That's right. Which I went to
Amazon.
See at the theater.
I didn't know I was all in it, by the way. She called, you're in a movie?
Yeah, it was. They had their world premiere in Morganton because it was based around
Brown Mountain
Lights.
So I was in at the beginning and at the end, but this was a movie that, I had signed a release. It was like a project. I didn't know it was going to end up on the big screen. But this was what happened. Coming back, and it was like I was sucked up to the ceiling. I could still feel it. It was like I was up there at the ceiling. I was looking down. It was real. It was real. It was real. And then I wake up. I'm in bed. But the thing is, right when I woke up, James, I hear him go, and he had just woke up at the same time, like that. And I said, I said, this is crazy. I was freaking out because it was real. And he said that he dreamed that he was going up this mountain road, and suddenly the car he was in went off the mountain road. But the thing was, what was real to him was he was suddenly sucked up to the ceiling of his van that he was in, which he really didn't have a van. But he had that same sensation, that same feeling of being pulled up against a ceiling. And took us a while to settle down. And we looked over, or I didn't, he did, and he said that he saw a baby who was under this like swim machine kind of thingy, and she was sparking, blue sparks.
Wow.
He actually accused her of being an alien probe from that point on, but he still loved her.
You want to try scrolling down? I think we're missing out on some stuff.
Also, the thing was about that too with the UFO kind of crap stuff. It's not crap, it's stuff. James, as you know, this story, it was just the end of a story I wrote, a true story. He was sleeping out there in that trailer where we lived, and we'd just gone to sleep, and he was charging something over at the window, and it was blinking kind of red like it did when it's charging. You really didn't notice it, but evidently it was reflecting in the window. And he opens his eyes from a drowsy state, and he sees that red light, I guess, as I said, reflecting the window, and assumed, as one does, that we were being attacked by aliens. So he leaps out of the bed and he goes flying over there in full panic mode to look out at the window to see who it is that's coming in. Of course, like I said, he was about asleep, and so, but it's still, to me, the fact that his mind went directly, not to, is that a fire? Is that something in the house? What is that blinking light? But went directly to alien probe.
That tells you a lot. See, that's the same way my imagination works. You may remember at that same house of yours, I think, up 221. Is that what we're talking about? Okay. When you looked up 221, I had that little Honda Accord I had parked outside your house one evening, and I looked out the window before I went to get in the car. I don't know why I decided to look out the window, and I saw two aliens sitting in that car. Clear as day. I'm like, oh my God, there's aliens in the car. And then I went out there and looked again and got a better look, and it was the headrest of my seats. But immediately in my mind, there's
not two people in the car, but two aliens car.
But when your imagination makes that link,
that goes straight there before anything else.
I think it tells you something.
Yeah, it does, and it makes you think, why would you do that? That's very interesting, to be honest.
Yeah, every time I see two circles of it, like two knots in a piece of wood, or my imagination makes them into alien faces. Always.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Always.
You know, I think this is kind of interesting, by the way. Something James or somebody posted. I liked it. I don't think I sent it to you. Maybe I might have sent it to you. But you know, when you go in a room, you forget what you come in there before. You actually had an alien encounter, and they just cleared your mind. Your memory. I thought, yes.
Well, that gives me a whole new layer of stuff to worry about.
That is like, yes, that is everything. I get it. Yeah. So now for days, every time I said, what did I come in here for? The aliens did it. They cleared your mind.
That's funny. Okay. In other news, we had another small earthquake in the area this past Sunday after a cluster of about 3, I think, over the week and a half before that around East Tennessee and Hendersonville, and then around Hendersonville again on Sunday.
Yeah, the earth is settling down, and I feel like there's some, a lot of damage being done with fracking and what stuff like that. So I do think that it's going to be a roller coaster, and there it is. Buckle up. Said it before, I'm saying it again. But then again, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
I still feel like I got to move. I feel like I'm not safe. I feel like I need to go up, and I have never in my life ever thought that.
Not safe in what way?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be because there's a drive-by. Excuse me, I always eat gaseous things right before I do a show.
Today, just for your edification, is beanie weenies.
Well, it's what I had available, homemade ones. But anyway, I feel like somebody might shoot through my window sometimes. And,
that's unpleasant.
It is. And I don't know. We don't usually have a history of drive-by shootings in my town. And especially not in this particular area. If we did, it's mostly nice people here. But of course, I guess people who are not so nice can come by. Then I get to thinking it's maybe because there's an illness. Sometimes James struggles with some illnesses and stuff. And I think maybe it's just I'm feeling that way because I'm worried. I want to get him and myself to a safe place so we don't have illness, which we're not suffering. I mean it with arthritis, but you know what I mean? I don't know why I think that. And then I think safe because maybe the entities here is, trying to run us off. But other times I think the entities here is trying to keep us here. And besides, they all go with me anyway. What's the difference?
Or no matter where you go, you'll get a new crop.
I mean, it don't matter. And somebody else can move in here You'll have nothing. It'll be peaceful and calm, and you can get a good deal on this house.
We're not going to buy your house.
You've told me I've soiled it.
So
No,
it
is a good house.
Are you still feeling like you need to move, get up in the mountains?
Yeah, up. And, I don't like feeling that way. Now, here's the thing. It could very well be now, too. I tend to pick up, you may not have noticed this, other people's emotions. That's what I do. That's how I live, is by picking up other people's stuff and translating it back to them, what they are actually feeling, So it very well could simply be that I am being overwhelmed by the energy of those around me not feeling safe, and the energy of people around me feeling they got to go higher and whatnot. And it could even be symbolic of going higher. And I'm going to Newland. I don't know why. I just decided it would be Newland, and of course, new land. And then I get to thinking, I'm probably going back home. I'm probably going to just drop dead or something. And that's what I'm really feeling, is I'm going to that. But, I don't know. I just go through these spells. And now Ask Me Tomorrow may not feel it at all, because, I do love my home. It's exactly where I want it to be. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, just a second ago, we were talking about earthquakes, and there have been earthquakes of many kinds since the first of this year. Things are so different, from lockdowns and virus and all this kind of stuff.
I can feel a big one coming. I don't think it's here, though. Probably one of the usual places, or maybe the Midwest. Maybe the Midwest. Yeah, I just felt one. And usually when I feel one, it's any time between right now and a couple of weeks. Usually, the longer it takes, the bigger the deal. But I do feel it. But anyway, carry on.
Okay.
I just felt Mexico, too. Something must be going on in Mexico right now, or will be. Something that might be of interest to the world. I don't know. Just felt Mexico come wafting through for whatever reason.
Okay.
Just because I feel it don't mean it's a big deal, but sometimes it does.
Well, what I was going to ask was, there have been earthquakes of different kinds, and that's people's lives have been very shaken. And I was wondering if you have any insight into, people have either lost their jobs, or they have had health impacts on their family, or their job has changed, or they have, during this time out, they have reassessed their job or whatever it was they were doing, and they feel like that doesn't fit anymore. How do we find our purpose again? Do you have any advice?
I think we'd be open to possibilities, and we look at what's in front of us, and that's how we're guided. And then little by little, we find doors open. We find people who help. We pick up a paper, see an ad or whatever. I think these things happen naturally. I think that's the thing, that people who worry too much, have a lot of anxiety, they feel like they got to, pound that to find it. And really, you just need to be open. And, of course, network the heck out of people. Of course, always network, communicate with others, because somebody else might know something you don't. So, keep those lines of communications open. That is very important. But also just expect that, I think sometimes when you're least expecting it, that's when something does. But the main thing, I think, comes to psychically basically being open to guidance. But don't go at it like this. I got to try. So go at it like this, because when you go at it like that, you actually get in your own way. You actually push so much energy out, it just clogs up. You got to kind of like that, steady, persistent. That's it, steady and persistent.
Okay. Do you feel like people's energy, the people that you're talking with, as far as clients, is their energy different now than it was last year? And if so,
everybody's different. So I can't say yes or no, because everybody's different. Some, yes. Oh my God, there's never going to be a change. And they're like, some people might go in circles, and then other people, it's like they sprint. But most people, they just keep walking, and they step back a little, and then they step forward a little, and they step back, and they step forward, but they keep making progress. And I think that's most people.
Okay. So we're just still keeping on.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Well, you and I did a reading for me week before last now. And one thing that you told me that I wanted to bring up for everybody, I had asked you about a cat that showed up at my house that was just kind of a strange guy that showed up. I don't even know how he got there. He was in such bad shape, and he was starving and all that. And you told me, just in passing, that you felt like there were beings that were being downloaded onto the planet into animals.
Did I?
You did.
Why would I do that?
What do you
I
have
do
anything
not.
else to say about
I
that?
have utterly no memory of that, and I say weird things that I don't remember a lot of times. But if I said it, I'll stick with it and say, okay, that's probably happening, and maybe that did happen to some of the beasties that are around you. Maybe they drop in and out and use those as um, biological probes. There you go,
Okay.
biological probes.
Well, can that happen to people too?
I've been actually thinking a lot about that lately. I hate to say it, but I have.
Okay.
I've been thinking a lot about people that I don't explain it. I would just want to say that it's like I'm looking behind their eyes, or something behind their eyes is looking back at me. And I don't like what I'm seeing lately with some beings. None of y'all. But it's like that ain't right. That ain't right. It's like somebody else looking out from behind the eyes.
Are these people that you've known before, or just people you're seeing out like it's the
It's
store
random.
or something?
It's
Okay.
random.
I wonder, some of y'all might have heard about the concept of NPCs or non-playing characters. If you want to think about certain entities in terms of gaming, these are the characters that are populate the game, but they're not being controlled by anybody outside the game. They're just part of the system. Some people call them organic portals, soulless beings. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or you feel like
There's somebody in there, so they're not soulless.
Okay.
But it ain't the person that's meant to be in there, and I don't think they're in there for a long time. Do I think there's soulless beings walking around? Of course there are. So they're also called sociopaths. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely think that there are. But yeah, there's something going on with, I want to say, a shift in the balance of soulless and soulful. Yeah, that's it.
Which way is it shifting?
Even anytime you have a rise of one, you have a rise of the other, so it don't really matter. I think it starts out with the rise of the soulless, but the soulful catches up.
Okay.
There's
So,
always going to be a balance. It's always going to be. It's not going to be like this. It's going to be like this.
okay. You ever seen that movie They Live?
I don't
It's a
know.
John Carpenter movie from, I guess it's the 80s. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Some of
Oh
y'all
yeah,
might remember him, the
I
wrestler.
have not
was in
seen it. I recall. I may have seen it, but I don't recall.
Anyway, that's all about these people figuring who amongst us is our soulless people, and it's really terrifying.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be. I have been very drawn to the thrillers, not thrillers, science fiction lately. Very drawn, but my favorite genre, as you may already know, is the 50s. I love
You
it.
love those really bad ones, don't you?
I don't always love the bad ones. I love actually the good ones, the ones, but I've seen them all now 3 times because I'm forcing Dylan to watch them with me. And actually, I was making him watch the one. This is a good one. This is a good one, as they say. Earth versus Flying Saucers.
Oh yeah.
And I think that was the one. Anyway, he said that he really liked it. He was actually interested in it. Actually, he was interested in tarantula. He's like, God, I love tarantula. There's nothing I love better than seeing that giant spider come up over the hill. And it terrifies me, though, because I'm always afraid he's going to get them poor horses down there because them horses is scared to death. And here comes that creepy crawly. Fortunately, this man comes out with a gun, and I'm so glad that he gets the man and not the horses. And I'm thinking, though, you gave up all that to get this one guy with a gun. But I guess he got, hurt by it, and so he's taking revenge. But yeah, I love that one, and then of course I love them, and I love them, and I love
Plan 9 from Outer Space is a good one.
don't know that one. I love Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yep.
Love it. I can't go swim in a swimming pool. A swimming pool with chlorine that you can see through. I'm thinking something's going to grab me and pull me under. Some of that fear comes from Jaws, though, which I love. Jaws, one of my favorite movies. But anyway, which one? Planet. What you saying?
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I might know that one. I forget titles, and I might know that one, but I can't recall it.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. I watched it not too terribly long ago, a few years ago. I watched it again, and I was surprised. It's actually pretty good.
Some of them are actually good.
Why do you think there was that big wave of science fiction
the nuclear
spooky,
bomb.
yeah.
Almost all of them refer back to something like that. And I do think that was everything. That's part of that is still what's happening today with maybe some of the things that are happening with illnesses and with people's fears and with actual mutations and blah, 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 this and that. You cannot be doing that kind of stuff on this planet without unleashing some things you weren't prepared to unleash.
Yeah.
Maybe not Godzilla, but maybe something that could wreak as much damage in the long haul.
You know, I was always a huge fan of dystopian science fiction or apocalypse science fiction. But I have to say, in the last few months, I've lost my appetite for it.
It's too close to home.
I know. I was laughing. I saw something online, a bookstore somewhere, and they'd taken the sign. They had put a sign in the window that said, all of our apocalypse fiction has now been moved to the current event section.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, okay. So we got, oh, hey, Carolyn, thank you for that nice, oh yeah, King Kong. That's a good one.
I like Godzilla myself. Raymond Burr starred in one or more of them. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, Raymond Burr. He's a intrepid reporter, I think. And I'll tell you what else, other kind of movies I like, though, from back in the day. I love Alfred Hitchcock a whole lot. Rear Window. I'm going to force Dylan to watch that pretty soon.
We rewatched that not too long ago.
It's so good. You tell me that don't scare you, there's something wrong with you, you know?
I know.
So if y'all are not acquainted with the old Rear Window, Raymond Burr's in it too, who used to play Perry Mason, which is why I'm bringing it up. God, I'm old.
Hey, what about ghosty stuff? You had any little ghostly things happening in here lately?
No more than usual. I don't even notice that nothing has gotten my attention lately. The other day, something was turning to water. Touched the spigot off and on, and it could have just been a quirk. But I mean, it was just standing there, and it just like, okay, I'm just waiting. But yeah, stuff like that.
I mean, are people still, like your clients that you're talking to, are they still having ghost encounters?
Our paranormal activity, is it still being lively? Yeah, it's still lively, but I'm not hearing about it as much as I did a couple of weeks ago. So maybe it's settling a little bit.
Okay. Hey, let me ask you about something. And if you're okay, I just wanted to say there's something that you guys want to ask Angela, like that would be of interest to everybody. Go ahead and throw it up here because, all topics welcome. But one thing I wanted to ask you about was what you think this weirdo thing is that I saw. It was one day last year.
Are you talking about me? Did you see me somewhere?
No, I don't think it was you.
James. That's it. Go ahead.
No, but out there where we live, I got up in the middle of the night and I saw a glowing green light on the floor, and I thought it was coming in through the window. And I was trying to figure out how is that light coming through. And we don't have street lights. We had all that stuff turned off, so it's all dark out there. And I thought, what the heck is that? And then I put my bare foot down over a glowing thing on the floor, thinking I would block the light and figure it out that way. But what I discovered was the light was coming from the floor because it lit up the webbing in between the toes.
That's crazy. And that seems familiar. I don't know why, but it does. But also, James and I were pointing to the driveway one time after dark. We never go out after dark. We were actually coming home after dark. And there was a green light like you're describing, but it was in the sky. And I'm not talking up in the sky. I'm talking about the size of my fist. And we saw us in Clinchville too one time. And it was right across the top at the time. Well, it's my driveway. It's before the carport or after. There was no, it was, we had the carport and we saw it over the carport. That's right. Just before we drove into it. And it was like just fast. And then it just, dissipated. It was gone. Now, I don't know what that was, but I saw it very clearly and it was glowing green, just like what you're talking about. And I don't know what it is, but we both saw it. And I've had other people say they've seen it. And then now you've got it there in the house. And I don't even know what to tell you.
Well, I thought maybe it was some kind of maybe a lightning bug or something that got squished somehow on the carpet and spread out.
Yeah, I can understand that, but no.
But I investigated it thoroughly the next day and I found absolutely nothing.
It's crazy how we always try to make it have these mundane explanations as to what this is. And I do it too. We all do it because I guess that's what we're trying to make sense. But maybe we really just should go ahead and leap to the illogical. Maybe in some point we'll look back and we'll think, you know what? This really was weird and I shouldn't have wasted time creating excuses. And I should have just accepted that for what it was.
You see what Tina right there?
I don't know who the man in black that passed her in Walmart was that was evil. Now, sometimes people, okay, there we are back. Sometimes people perceive something as evil, but it's just very, very different. And you have to be careful. I'm not saying she's wrong. She might have been right. But that does make me want to say, though, just because something is different doesn't mean it's evil. It just means it's different. And we don't want to label something until we know. But sometimes your body does know. And if she felt that, like I said, I'm not going to argue with her, but I am going to throw that little warning out for people just in case. Mm-hmm. And sometimes our body can even perceive something as in panic, because it's just not that it's evil. It's just too much energy. And your body was built to house one soul, yours. So if you get, an entity that's passing through or something that's trying to attach, because maybe it's confused and thinks, oh, there's my body, I need to get in there. Confused. But you're going to experience it as panic. You might experience it as a form of evil, when basically it's just the way, your body's reacting to too much energy. But otherwise, I don't know. But I do think there's something being unleashed on the planet of otherworldly proportions. So there could be a lot of, I want to say, breaks in the multiverse, where there's maybe a lot of passing through right now. So I want to just throw that out there and leave it. But I think these things, they come and then they disappear as quickly as they come through. There's a thing about this show I watched, paranormal thing about Bigfoot, and some guy was doing a controlled burn. He was actually a firefighter, knew what he's doing on his property, so it didn't get a wildfire. Mm-hmm. And in the background, somebody pointed out, because he had posted, there was actually a Bigfoot in the thing ground, and he's running, and then he just disappeared. And they think that maybe those creatures live underground, and maybe he got caught in that fire and the smoke or whatever, and then he went underground. But you and I have thought that maybe there are portals that open up between universes, mm-hmm. and he could just step through a portal. Yeah. But I thought of you when I saw that. It was pretty interesting.
And where was that?
It wasn't around here. It was, I don't know where it was. But anyway, you can look it up, Google it.
Okay.
You'll find it. But it was pretty weird, and it was not something that looked fake, because he was like not into it. He was just talking about his fire that he's doing. As a matter of fact, you barely even noticed it. I'm surprised anybody even noticed it. But anyway, it could be fake. You know how people are, but who knows? It was interesting regardless. You can look and see.
Well, I've always felt like Bigfoot and any creatures like that are not ones that we expect to see are passing back and forth through portals in and out of this reality.
Like you hear about all of a sudden it rains fish,
yes.
Or it rains something else that makes sense. Somebody, okay, you can make an allowance for. Water thing did suck, sucked it up and dropped it down. Okay. But there's other things that have been done that make no sense. Somebody mentioned last time after we hung up, actually about having money fall down, coins from the ceiling out in air. Do you know that actually happened to this lady? She's gone now, bless her heart. She was a teacher over in Madison County. And she used to, back then, they'd go to people's houses, they'd teach, and then she'd go stay with somebody, stay the night with the family. And I think it's just really, and that's beside the point. But she said they were teaching, getting ready to do in this little tiny school, and these coins dropped out right out of the ceiling. It's a one-room school, out of the ceiling. And she said that they got, it was like 65 cents, and that was a lot of money back then. She says, none of them kids 65 cents to be throwing and dropping up in the air. That she says it came down straight like that. And she was, an old lady when she's telling me that, and when she's a very young lady. And I just thought that was very interesting. And when that lady, whoever it was, I'm sorry, I forgot who told me that, told me about that happening to her, that reminded me. And as you know, and people thought that silver is a metal that can go between universes, between worlds, whatever you want to say.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why dimes were always thought to be a gift from the spirit world, because they were silver. But now they're not silver anymore. But I think that they are still the one thing that does, in fact, come through and gets manipulated from the spirit realm. You hear the old gypsy, and I hope that's not a word I'm not supposed to use anymore, thing about cross my palm with silver.
Yes.
because it has, and people that wear silver usually, it's hard for me to wear it. It's got very high vibration to it, whereas gold has a very mellow vibration. And some people respond well to one and not to the other, and vice versa, or some both, whatever.
Huh.
So is anybody still there? Because I'm not seeing one comment, and it looks like something's frozen. Oh, there's
There we
somebody.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, check out what Joanne's writing.
I think that I'm going along with Sid on that deal. That, yeah, maybe she says orbs dancing around her greenhouse. Sid said it's fairies dancing and having a good time, and I'm not going to argue with that. Remember, never talk too much about them. They get very offended very easily. Just better to know they're there, and you can put some milk out for them. Just pour it down on the ground. Don't be making a big deal out of things.
I read somewhere that if you see a circle of mushrooms in the forest, that usually means that there are fairies there.
Yeah, it could very well be a fairy circle. But I do know that they're, don't like to be talked about too much, and that's allergies. Don't freak out.
Okay.
Okay, next.
Okay.
Somebody ask us something, or
so where are we on our wave of this collective event that we're going through? What do you feel?
we're not crested it yet. We're not. It's as a whole. Now, some places I've obviously crested it, and it's actually going on out. But for the vast part, I don't think it's crested. I think it's an illusion that maybe we have. So a little bit more further to go to crest that, and to then be able to move on out. But this is something that won't be going away, ever. It's just going to have to be one of those things that we find a way to work around it.
Okay.
Next.
Well, I mean, that's really all I had. You've been derelict about sending me texts. You got to send me some more texts so we can have the mysterious text game.
I don't always see them. I don't always feel them. It's because I'm a teacher now. I'm a teacher of a 5th grader now. I don't have any brain left. I don't, because it's not like I have a child that I could say, hey, go do your work now. No, I have to sit on top. Oh my God. It's like you give an assignment to write something. It would be so easy to write like this much, and he'll write 2 lines. Oh, it's killing me to do more. I'm actually in there. But I'm actually in there trying to do a session with somebody, because I will let a few people come in if it depends what the circumstances. But anyway, I'm trying to do a session with somebody. I'm trying to be serious. I'm sitting in a recliner rocking, looking through the hall, right? And I'm looking in the hall, and they're still standing back where nobody can see them, but I could see them, wearing my nightgown with a giant rubber bouncy ball stuffed under to make him look pregnant. And he's standing there doing this kind of dance.
You didn't get video?
I'm working. It's like, I just can't bounce up. And I'll just close that door, please.
I have an explanation for that behavior.
Yeah, that explains a lot. He is so, and today, what's he wearing, Kim? What's he wearing today?
He has a crown. He has a beautiful crown on today.
He bought himself a crown. It's a paper crown, but it's glittery.
It's great.
Hey, he's cleaning his room. If that crown gives him the energy to clean his room, that pigsty that is known as his room, hey, I'm all for. I will buy him a crown. It will happen.
All right. Well, if we don't have anything else from anybody, what are your parting thoughts for us today as a group?
Where are we in time right now? This is May 13th, 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or 13th. 14th. I feel like if you can do anything creative, do it now. If you can do any kind of gardening, do it now. If you can work in any kind of, plants, I got some out there. I got a plant. Do that. Do it now. Anything that has to do with nature, anything that has to do with creativity, you put energy into it, you might get energy back from it. So try to do things. Also, if you want to cook, now's a good time to cook before it gets hot. When I'm in Newland, I won't have to worry about that so much. The likelihood of actually moving up there is about 2%. It's not likely really, but it gives me something to think about. But anyway, I feel like if I do, I'm told her she's moving too. And she might.
I like it up there.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I haven't been up there in years. I don't think I've even been downtown. I heard they had a town. I'm not real sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been in a certain place, and I keep thinking about that river. And I think there's a river going through there, isn't there?
Yeah. Not sure.
Well, there's a
which
creek
river.
or river everywhere up there, so it's bound to be. But anyway, I have no idea what we was talking about.
You were leaving us with some parting
Oh,
thoughts.
that. Searching for home. You might feel like you're searching for home, and whatever home means to you, whether it's like your relationship, feeling at home. One of my little friends, I don't think she'll mind me telling you, said that there was somebody in her life that made her feel a certain way or certain way or certain way, and it was all real positive. And I said, they make you feel like you're at home. And so I think that we're going to be searching for that. Also searching for peace, just peace. So people that may not have a good work environment, as I know some people might not have, they may not be finding it tolerable anymore. Now, on the opposite side of that, if anybody's going to lose their temper, get out of the way. Just get out of the way. Don't try to argue. Don't try to fix. Just go to Newland and hide till it blows over.
Your own private Newland.
Yeah.
Instead of your own private Idaho.
Because the Newland in my head may be nothing like the one that's actually up there, because it's been good Lord, it's been a while since I've been up there. I don't think I got out of the car then, but I liked it.
If you move up there, you're going to have to get out of the car at some point.
Yeah. As long as it's within walking distance to a cafe somewhere, I'm all right.
Okay. All righty. We're about 50 minutes plus. That's usually our
I hope you people have enjoyed this. I hope we're still on. I'm not real sure that we're even
we
still
still
on.
got 25 people with us.
There it goes. Over here. There it goes. Please share if you would. And, share, don't share, but I hope you'll share. And I want to thank y'all so very much for listening. And I'm always surprised anybody does. And hopefully we'll be back next week. And thank you again.
Hey, Ellen, I'm going to come home and then we can go back out.
There you go. I don't know what you're referring to, but that sounds like good. And looky here. End live video. It's not going to allow us to end. It doesn't allow us to go. It doesn't allow us to end. We might have been a little yellow. We were also really good colored on a couple of times there. So who knows what's going on. So the internet hates me. And I will tell you the truth in case anybody's still here. Honest to God, everything could be fine